Okay. My mic sounds nice. Check 1.
My mic sounds nice. Check 2.
My mic sounds nice. Check 3.
My mic sounds nice. Check 4.
My mic sounds nice. Check 5.
My mic sounds nice. Check 6.
My mic sound nice. Check 7.
All right. I'm Lito,
I'm Roger.
and together,
We are Sci-Fi Rewind.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for checking out our little intro podcast, like a little, promo, right?
Right.
So what's this podcast going to be about, Roger?
Science fiction related stuff.
Okay.
We're still, I think, behind the scenes talking about what counts as science fiction or not. Cause
We're still mulling that over, aren't we?
yes.
Maybe this podcast will help us figure it out.
Yes. Because I think somehow Lito has somehow considered magic to be science fiction.
Magic, fantasy, monsters, superheroes.
I mean, I consider Predator to be science fiction,
I mean,
but
so do I.
but I don't know if I consider Lord of the Rings to be science fiction.
That's where we differ, and that's where we're gonna have tension.
Yeah. So we're still talking about this kind of stuff, but for right now, like,
I think this is gonna be therapy for you.
are you sure it's not the other way around?
No, I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Okay then.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, hey, let's start it off on the right foot. Let's not,
I
waste
think
anyone's time.
I think we can agree though
What?
with episode 1,
Mhm.
the one we'll record sometime next week.
Sure.
That's gonna be science fiction. We can both agree on that.
I think it's the science fiction of our time, but sure, yeah. I think it's what, when I think of science fiction, like boom, like this is my, quintessential science fiction. But
I have not seen it. I'll go flat out and say I haven't seen it, but I know of it. Tiniest a bit. Like, I don't know, like, plot wise, if there even is a plot. I know that people always talk about it. It's like, oh, this is a weird movie.
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to delving into it, and and we're gonna see how this goes. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. And I'm also excited. I'll be going like, it's a type of science fiction probably written by a crazy person.
Yeah. So a little bit about me. I was born in the year 1978. So I grew up, I barely remember the beginning of the 80s, but 85, 84, like 84 and on, I'm pretty, I kind of remember stuff. And my counterpart here, Raj, when were you born?
96.
That's the year I graduated high school.
That's like one of the first things he ever told me. It's like, what year were you born? 96. And it's like, that's the year I graduated high school.
How about them apples? So we're going to have some varying differences in how we look at things and how we interpret things. So that's going to be a lot of fun to figure that out and, explain to each other, hey, no, this is what, we think this means, So,
and sometimes we could come at it almost the exact same way. Like, if we were to look at Plan 9 from outer space, I don't think it matters what year we were both born.
No.
We probably look at that and go like, what is this?
right. Yeah. So let's embrace the things that we look at the same, and then just try to, explain why we think things are, different. Well, the way we look at things, So it's going to be a cool little, experiment as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here. There's been so much made over the years, so many projects and whatnot, and all varying in quality. So there's so much to talk about, so much to analyze, and I'm certain this will just be a fun time to be had, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Excellent. So a little bit about myself. I graduated film school a couple years ago. And we're both working professionals here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
We're recording this podcast at Transition Studios in Cleveland, Ohio, downtown Cleveland. Transition Studios has some films out there, some on Netflix. So if you haven't heard or seen our films, definitely go check them out. Murder in the Park and White Boy.
White Boy is on Netflix, but I don't think Murder in the Park is.
Oh, it might have been at some point. Then.
It might have been, but I think it's gone at this
Okay.
point.
All right, cool. So, and then a little bit about yourself there, Raj.
Graduated from Baldwin Wallace, film studies major, creative writing minor. I like to analyze films, and so when this opportunity was brought forth to me, I go like, "Oh my God, this is something I've kind of been waiting for." Being here, talking about science fiction, any kind, good or bad. It's even movies or stuff like that. We're talking about movies and possibly television. Games would be interesting to talk about.
Sure.
And so much to talk about, so much to analyze. Yeah.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. So, settle in. We're going to come at you like every week. We're going to have mainly it's going to be Roger and I, but then we're going to occasionally come in. There's plenty of talented filmmakers here, and they each have their own interpretation of what their favorite sci-fi film is, or favorite sci-fi, and we're going to bring those people in, and they're going to explain to us, and we're going to learn from them, and then we're going to learn from each other, and it's just going to be a great thing for everybody. Everyone just kind of learn a little bit about each other and how how we look at things.
And I think I always feel like what you like and what you share with people almost describes just kind of who you are. For instance, one of these days, I'll get Lito here to watch a Neil Breen film, and if anyone knows what that means, like it's going to be one heck of a time, and it should kind of say something about me.
Yeah, I have no idea what that reference means. I'm looking forward to seeing what that reference goes.
It will still be some time, but
okay,
it's coming.
All right. So the formula is going to be: I pick a film one week, Roger's going to pick a film the next week, and then the third week we're going to have a special guest, and they're going to pick a film, or whatever sci-fi they want to talk about, and we're just going to go with that until we decide to change things. So. We'll probably be active on Twitter, and I don't know about Facebook and Instagram, but we'll figure all that out as we move forward.
Probably do something with Instagram, Facebook. I mean, does anyone even use Facebook anymore?
Yeah, I do.
Hello, MySpace.
Hello, blast from the past, MySpace. Oh man, those were the days.
Wait, can we even call it Facebook anymore? Isn't it now Meta?
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Wasn't it all just Friendster at this point, or whatnot?
Well, it's like I say, who uses Facebook anymore?
I don't know. It's archaic, I guess. But I do, because my mom's on it. So, hey.
Yeah.
I like to see what she's got going on. I like her posts for, angels and stuff.
I hope to God your mom isn't on Twitter.
No, she's not.
Oh, thank God.
So, all right, guys. We're going to be wrapping this little promo up with our list of topics that we're probably going to discuss per every, let's just do films for now, since we're both filmmakers. It'll be an easy thing to start with.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to have at the beginning of the show, we're probably going to have a pitch session.
Yeah.
Where I'll be acting as the executive. And Roger here will be the aspiring screenwriter, with all these great ideas, and he's going to come at me with them, and I'm going to be like, how am I going to make this? And then he's going to try to sell me the movie, and that's how we'll get into the plot of the film that we're talking about, and you'll learn the characters and whatnot through all that interaction. And then, we'll after that, we'll talk about, the film.
Yeah, we'll be talking about our history of the film,
right?
Our nostalgia of it. We kind of talk about how we encountered the film. I feel like it'll be see it from our childhood, or
right.
we've heard about it in passing, or we've never heard about it at all, and this is our first time viewing it. So that's kind of.
I'm going to spoil it right now and tell you that 99% of these films I'm going to pick. I saw them growing up on HBO. Right there.
I will try and do a healthy balance of films I have seen and films I have not seen.
Okay, cool. And then we're gonna, after we talk about our history with the film, we're probably gonna discuss stuff like the story behind the story. We're gonna call it, and that's gonna be like behind the scenes stories. Any kind of like if anyone knows anything about filmmaking, that
It's a nightmare.
oh my god, behind the scenes to get that film on screen, it's hard.
Like Jaws is such a good film, but you just hear about all that stuff behind the scenes.
Oh
where
my!
it's-
There's a play about that now. There's a like I don't know if it's on Broadway, but there's a play about behind the scenes Jaws they made because it's so like a story.
This just sounds like both new news for me, and it sounds like I've also heard about this before.
Okay.
It's like vaguely familiar, but it's also like, oh my god, really?
Yes. Yeah,
What is it, like a musical?
You're right. And yeah, I mean, biopics. I mean, I'm totally into biopics and behind the scenes movies, and I love all that stuff. And
The Tim Burton Ed Wood, I think, is a really great movie.
there you go. Absolutely. Bowfinger, if you've ever seen that movie. That's a good like behind the scenes type filmmaking movie. Let's see here. And then so we're going to be as filmmakers too, we're going to be looking at it with the critical eye, right?
Yeah, no movie is perfect.
No.
There's always phase where it's like,
Except Back to the Future, but that's fine.
yeah, Back to the Future or Neil Breen.
I don't know what that means.
I will always know what that means, and someday you will know what Neil Breen means.
I will. You're going to teach me. So yeah, we're going to point out some cringe moments and how we can make the film better, or the piece of sci-fi better. So we can point out a couple flaws, and then we're going to like take a deep dive into the filmmakers and ask the question like, why was this made? What's the message? What's the environment that it came from? Like we're going to try to like look into the history of the times and what made this come out of the consciousness. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, unless you're talking about David Lynch, where it's like almost impossible to figure out what he's trying to get at.
We're not really worried about what they were thinking. We're more worried about we're more thinking like, what do we think they were thinking?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be impossible to figure out what they were thinking. But
I feel like in certain regards you could kind of feel what they were thinking.
well, it's art. It's up for
Yeah.
interpretation, and I think like we're going to try to interpret it.
Yeah, like, David Lynch also notoriously doesn't talk about his films. He doesn't like try and explain any of it. So, because he wants that illusion, he wants you to go like, what do you get out of my film?
Exactly.
And so that's kind of how things almost should be. But there's
Right.
also directors out there who, like, what was that Jennifer Lawrence film that came out where she was Mother Nature?
Ooh, I don't know.
Mother. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Mother.
okay.
Because it's not capitalized Mother. It's just lowercase Mother
Okay.
with an exclamation point at the end. So you have to go like, Mother. But
great.
the director, like, flat out, like in interviews before the movie like was even released, he was like, "Yeah, I just wanted to make this movie about Mother Nature." It's just like just spoils everything. And you go like,
happy accidents. I mean, that's got to be something that happens. Like someone with like you just said, has like a really basic like goal, but not, and then goes on this journey, and there's like this whole other thing like sprouts out of it that the person had like no idea was going to happen. Like, is that like planned, or was it a happy accident, or is it just
well, from what I recall of Mother, I think everything was intentional.
Okay.
But like, I think everything he made, he knew what he wanted it to be. And instead of letting the audience interpret it, he just like went on interviews. And it was just like, this is what my movie's about. No need to think about it at all. This is what it's about. Just not gonna let any imagination here at all. Just there it is.
Do you think when a auteur does that, do you think that kind of lessens your appreciation of the film, or does that?
I mean, you could talk about your film, but as long as you still give us something to kind of think about, like if you just want to just go out and just say everything, it's like, why even bother making a movie?
Okay, so quick question: you think like okay, so you release a film as
Yep.
a filmmaker,
Mm-hmm.
and it's no longer yours then at that point. Like it's up to interpretation, and you can't control it or.
Well,
like,
in this,
like wherever people think
Mhm.
about your film, that I mean, you can't like change their mind.
this is almost a little weird to talk about because like
Okay.
with David Lynch films, like I will always think, oh yeah, that's his film, unless it's Dune.
Uh-huh.
Unless it's Dune, in which case he didn't really have that much control or something. I'd still have to look into that, but it's like David Lynch has like publicly disowned that film. He's just like, I don't want to be. But he, or was it? Maybe it was a version of Dune, maybe like a home release or something. But when I think David Lynch, he doesn't really explain much, and people always have to go like, what? What?
Yeah.
And so, like, the only person who will ever fully get a David Lynch film is David Lynch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not up to us like what they were thinking.
Mhm.
It's all we can control is like what we're like you and I are thinking.
Oh yeah.
So a question about David Lynch, real quick.
Oh yeah.
Did he do The Elephant Man?
Yeah, that's him.
That's the only movie I think I've ever seen of David Lynch. But we'll discuss.
That's probably one of the more normal films.
Okay, and I really, really liked that film.
Mhm.
I loved how he used light to like shine on the
Mhm.
Elephant Man's head. It was
But
awesome.
but there's stuff like Eraserhead,
Yeah,
Mulholland
I've never seen
Drive.
that. What Mulholland Drive?
Yeah, Mulholland
Yeah,
Drive.
I saw that one. That was a little weird.
What was it? Blue Velvet.
Yeah, I didn't really.
Twin Peaks is out there.
Sure. Yeah, I've heard all that.
I've watched Twin Peaks season 1. I've still got to get into 2, and everyone in their mother who's a fan of David Lynch,
Yeah.
they always seem to talk about season 3, and I don't know what to make of it. So,
Well, don't worry. This is not going to be a David Lynch sci-fi
yeah,
thing. This is just topical at this point. But it's fun. This is the kind of talk we're going to be having and how we're going to be having it. And then that's going to, towards the end of every podcast, we're going to be probably shooting out some recommendations.
oh yeah,
Like, hey, this is the movie we talked about. These are some movies that are similar. Something like that in that kind of realm.
or even just things we've been watching that
Sure.
might not even be related, but that would just go like, hey, just check this out.
And you know what? And you wouldn't think this, but like whatever you're watching at the time could have an effect on how you interpret something.
Yeah.
So you never know. It could be, opening up your eyes to a part of the layers of filmmaking that's in there.
Mhm.
That because you're looking at the sci-fi from a different time in your life with more knowledge, I guess you could say. It might open you up to a whole different experience.
Yeah.
So once again, I'm Lito,
I'm Roger.
and we are
Sci-Fi Rewind.
We'll see you soon.
Take care.